So, bro, ever since I was in middle school and high school, I've always sucked having conversations with people. And part of the reasons why these conversations completely sucked is because I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to tell people. I didn't know how to have a conversation. I remember this one time I'm in class and our teacher tells us we're going to have partner work. He's going to assign us to random partners. So he assigns me to this random guy I don't know. And, he gives us like 2 to 3 minutes to introduce each other. And I asked the guy what's his name, where he's from, the common questions that you ask people when you try to get to know him. And after talking to him, just asking the regular conversations, we kind of just nod our heads and say that's cool. And after that, it's completely silent for the rest of the 2 minutes we're supposed to be talking. I had saw in this previous social video that if you ask a bunch of questions about that person, it will start a natural conversation. But it didn't work for me. It just sounds like I was interviewing him and it ended up being more awkward. And after realizing this, I noticed that so many people in my school could just naturally have conversation with people, have the right thing to say and just connect and make so many friends that I didn't have that. And it wasn't until I started implementing this one thing that I noticed isn't really talked about when trying to figure out what to say and have better conversations. And that thing is using comedy and heavy dialogue shows to improve your social skills and your confidence. Now, you might be thinking, how is TV shows and comedy going to help me improve my social skills and actually know what to say to someone when having a conversation? And I'm going to tell you all that. I'm going to tell you what type of shows to watch, how often you need to do it. And this is my go framework on any social situation that I have to go into when I know I need to be just a little more social and get to know more people. Step one, this is what you're going to do. You're going to find a comedy or a heavy dialogue TV show. Like I just mentioned, you might be confused on how this is going to help you, but think about it like this. When you take a comedy show or a dialogue show, you are constantly hearing characters making jokes, using each other to make fun of each other, debate, using a bunch of comeback humor. And overall, this is just going to be something that you're going to want to take an example of. Right now, your problem is that you don't have anything to say, so we're adding just a little bit of what these comedy shows or heavy dialogue shows are using. Now, you might be thinking right now, oh, so should I base my conversations off of a character in a TV show? That's definitely not what I'm saying. You're just going to pay attention to the dialogue they use. In these shows, there is no awkwardness. Every character has something specific to say to each other. In my example, I remember that when I would go into conversations, I didn't really have much to say. I didn't know how to make jokes. Maybe if the guy would make sarcasm with me, if friends would make sarcasm with me or say something, I didn't know how to respond. It was either very direct or like a yes or no type of response. And my conversations were awkward. But after watching this TV series called Suits, which is basically a law firm heavy dialogue show, I noticed that I started mimicking some of the things that they said, finding the right things to say, using some of the jokes that these characters use. And by doing this, it actually helped me use a lot of jokes to make the conversation flow. And not only that, I was watching a popular TV show, which also made me have something to talk about to these people that also watch shows. So you're going to do that. And the step two, what you're going to do next is you're going to watch at least 15 to 20 minutes of this and then go to your social situation. Now, you might be thinking right now, oh, should I copy every single line that they say? I'm not saying that. Just like I had previously said in step one, you're going to want to absorb this to get just kind of like a flow, start a feeling toward you. If you're a little confused on how TV shows and movies influence us, they basically act like social environments. If you're grown up in a social environment where there's lots of talking, you have lots of parents talking to you, lots of speaking, you're going to start acting like that because you adapt to that and you see, okay, this is my environment. I need to adapt to this to be perceived as enjoying the environment and to survive. On the other side, if you're in an environment that is isolating, no one's talking to you, you're going to adapt to this as well. This is the reason why I was shy right from the get-go. I was known as the shy kid in school that didn't even speak. And that was because my parents came from other countries and all they cared about was putting a roof over my head and having enough income to provide for me and my family. They didn't ask me how my day was, how things were going. I wasn't exposed to the conversational hacks. I wasn't exposed to questions. And when I went to school, this completely killed me. So I noticed that when I watched Suits, that I would try to think and mimic a character. Okay, so there in Suits, bro, there's this one character named Harvey Specter. He's one of the most important protagonists in the series. He's this attorney. He's also a womanizer too. So what something else you can also do is you can mimic these characters. And like I say before, you necessarily don't have to think about it directly, but you can start using some of the lines that they use. You can start responding in the way that they respond to. Another example for me is that whenever someone would approach me first, I would fake saying hi to them. I would give this fake energy off, and it wouldn't be natural whatsoever. But once I started seeing this character named Harvey Specter, he knows his worth in the show. He knows who he is. And because of that, he doesn't need to fake his confidence. He doesn't need to fake his charisma when talking to people. So every time in the show, when someone comes up to him, he's like, hey, what's up? He doesn't give this high energy vibe where it's like, oh, hey, how you doing? He just says, hey. It's very calm, it's nonchalant, and I noticed that I started doing that. People were like, okay, he's being himself. He knows who he's worth. So that's something that you can do. You're eventually going to start mimicking these people using some of the mannerisms that they do over time. And this is when you start watching shows consistently, whether that's a comedic show or it's going to be a heavy dialogue show. Number 3 is repeating step 2 until you naturally get some of the mannerisms that you get from the shows into your own self. Like I said from step 1, most people think that in order for this to work, you need to completely change yourself and act like a certain character. That's not what I'm saying whatsoever. You are yourself for a reason, but your problem is you have no idea what to say. So we're taking some of the things from the show, the dialogue, the jokes that they make, and we're implementing it. Once you see these shows and hear it 24/7, just like adapting to a social environment and copying what's around you, you're going to remember these lines. And then once you actually go into a conversation, you're going to start mixing and matching some of the things that you like from the show and mixing it with your personality traits. So for example, some things in the shows for me, I don't necessarily do because that's not me. I'm more of a calmer guy. I wouldn't say I'm a big hype energy guy. That's why I don't fake energy. I don't fake energy when someone says hi to me, but rather I use certain things that I see in shows and I incorporate it into my own personality. So I think to myself, the way I am, would I use that? If it's a yes, I start using it and I use that to my advantage. If I don't, well, then I don't, because that's not me natural. That's not me whatsoever. The point is having things to say, finding things to say from these TV shows and comedic shows, but also realizing that you are who you are for a reason and that you shouldn't have a conversation in an unnatural way whatsoever. Like, share, subscribe. See you in the next one.